So let us understand what is positivism. Okay, first of all, it has nothing to do with being positive. Like I'm positive that I can do this or I'm being positive. No, it's nothing to do with that. Positivism is basically a philosophy. It's an approach to gain knowledge on the basis of scientific methods. This is the key word here. It has to be scientific. But what is a scientific method? Or in fact, what is science in the first place? So let us understand that. Science is something that relies on facts and evidences. It's not like common sense knowledge. What is a common sense knowledge? Something that is believed just for the sake of believing it, or because someone else or the society or the lots of other people believe in it. So, for example, a cat crossing a road gives bad luck. There is no way that we can prove this knowledge using facts or evidences. So, it's like a common sense knowledge. But scientific concepts, on the other hand, they can be proven. Take for example gravity. Apple falling down from a tree is a proof that gravity exists. So no matter how many times you drop an apple, it will always go down. Why? Because there's a force that is pulling it down. So hence you can prove gravity repeatedly. Scientific knowledge is something that can be proved repeatedly, and since it can be proved repeatedly, you can form a generalization that this particular force exists. In this case, like gravity exists, and that is why you can also build a theory around it. So then what is a scientific method? It's a systematic method. What is a systematic method? Which follows certain steps. There's step 1, there's step 2, there's step 3. For example, step 1 is observing, then forming a concept can be step 2, and then proving that concept, that can be step 3. Then you can form a generalization. So it's following a systematic method. And what it uses observable and verifiable facts to gain knowledge. Observable is something that you can observe, you can perceive with your senses, you can see it, you can hear it, you can directly observe it. That is what observable means. And verifiable means something that you can test, you can experiment and prove it. That is verifiable. Now science, as we know, explores the natural world, the physical world. But social science is different. It explores the social world. And what is so different about social world? Well, human beings makes it different because every person is different and every person acts differently. We are not mechanical beings because we have meanings and motives behind our actions. That is why social world is a completely different world. It's very different from the natural world where everything is mechanical, everything is patterned. So positivism or a positivist sociology is to use scientific methods to understand the social world. So what is then a positive theory? Positive theory is something that is objective and fact-based. That is, we have formed a theory about a social world, and that particular theory has to be objective as well as fact-based for it to be a positive theory. That is when we have applied positivism, that is, we have used scientific methods. Now we know what is fact-based, but what is objective? Objectivity is to set aside values and beliefs to stay neutral when observing the social world. Let us understand this. For example, a sociologist wants to study a particular tribal community. So he or she cannot have any preconceived notions about that community. He or she cannot believe that the community is underdeveloped or the people are unhappy. No. They have to study it with an open mind. It is only then that we can explore new features of that community. We can understand that community in terms of their own perception. And that is extremely important when it comes to positivism. So positivism was popularized by Auguste Comte because he wanted to develop a science of society. Now this Auguste Comte was a French philosopher, and during that period in France it was the Enlightenment era. So during the Enlightenment era, the beliefs and the church was questioned, and that is why rationality, science, all this gained a lot of momentum. It was in trend that anything, if you want to study, it has to be studied in a scientific manner, and that is why he believed that society should also be studied in a scientific manner. And that is how positivism gained momentum, and that is how positivism was popularized by Auguste Comte. So in conclusion, what is positivism, or what are the features of positivism? An observable and verifiable knowledge, and generalizations can be made around it. Hence, that is positivism. So, can we say that sociology is a science? Yes, we can definitely say that sociology is a science because the social world can be studied using scientific methods. Thank you. Please like, share, and subscribe.